All right, good morning, Advantage members. It's Thursday, August 12th, 8 a.m. my time. Price of Bitcoin currently sitting at $44,700. So it looks like, once again, we have this pattern which kind of looks like a sideways distribution. We might be breaking these lows of the distribution again, in which case we typically look for the key support levels below. First one being 44,000 flat around this weekly open area, and then weekly pivot, which is around 42K. Now, the interesting thing about 44,000 is you could kind of make the argument that at 44K, you might still be in this kind of like uptrend like this, right? But the point is that in this area up here, we kind of had a fade in momentum, right? Which is where we started to see that distribution, which is around, I think, starting from this area onward, we saw a loss of momentum when that crypto regulation or crypto tax bill started to come up, which we talked about, several days back, right? So momentum loss and seeing a structure develop, especially one that looks like distribution, is always important and one to keep in mind, because if you start seeing other wonky things happening in the market, for example, yesterday, what we had in a span of basically 24 hours or so, or rather less than 24 hours, is Alpha made a move basically from this area all the way to this high, and then again by the end of the day, near the daily candle close, it completely collapsed back down, and majority of the move was fully retraced, right? And this was actually the case for I think a lot of altcoins. I want to say sushi as well, right? Sushi started to make its move, I think yesterday, or not yesterday evening, 2 days ago evening time, and by the morning time yesterday had popped up almost to $12, and then a lot of the move was retraced. And now what we're seeing in alts right now is a local structure that's a downtrend, which is a high, a low, a lower high, and a lower low. Okay, even in Alpha, if I'm not mistaken, we have a similar structure developing. A high put in, your first low, a lower high, a lower low. And unless the structure changes, like say from this price action, unless price does something like this, climb up, break this descending structure or descending trend line, you typically don't want to get back into that trade, because one can really assume that this might be a local top being created, but it's also kind of hard to say, because guess what, like on the daily basis, Alpha and many other assets have gone up tremendously, and if they've gone up a decent amount like this, you kind of have to give the benefit of the doubt to the bulls, right? And you have to just say that, all right, well, even if we get pullbacks, those might be buying opportunities. So that's kind of what we did yesterday. When the market started to break structure is where I started to let go of my positions. For example, when this trend line started to get breached, right, on this, where was it? I think on this return back up, I sold my Rune position, right? And then I got into Alpha, which I guess, now in hindsight, that looks like a mistake, right? Let me split the screen real quick. Okay. Let's pull up Alpha down here. And I want to show y'all exactly what my thought process was, right? So for Alpha, this kind of, uptrend was more so intact from, where did I get in? I think I got in right here, right? And prices moved up overnight, but then they sold off again. Almost very similar to what happened in Rune. Prices respected this trend line, pushed up, and then sold off. But yesterday, if y'all remember in the 5K count, Alpha was coming back at the very top on the rebound back up. I had posted this right around the time where the new daily had just started, right? So Alpha looked really strong. So that's one of the reasons why I got into Alpha. But this morning, as soon as I woke up, I saw the broad market selling off. I said, you know what, screw it, I'm out, right? I want to get out of my position. I'm not seeing the strength I want to see. And sometimes it's really that simple. If you try to muddy things up and you pray and hope that trend line recovers or the market has to go up, yeah, you might be right that the market has to go up further, or it could go up rather. But the point is, the local trend was broken. We had pretty big momentum in the market yesterday, which got completely annihilated by the sellers. They just really aggressively dumped on everybody. And if they're still active in the market, then I don't want to be a participant in that. Then I want to at least pause and wait, see what the next few hours are like, maybe next 24 hours. And then if I feel like getting into the market, once again, I'm going to focus on key assets like Rune, right? Rune, one can say, is really in this range, right? It hasn't really done a whole lot. It, of course, like I said, broke this trend line, which is not good, but it's in a range. It hasn't gone anywhere. So if I want to get back into Rune, I can easily take this trade from here back to 759 or back to 810, in which case, I'll still make some decent money. But you need to see that the range low gets respected and then price is ready to push up higher. If we see that, then I don't mind hopping back into this trade. Same thing with Alpha, right? And a couple of other assets that we're watching. Like let's pull up Alpha real quick. Okay. So same thing with Alpha. What I'm looking for is strength to be shown, because the strength from the bear side was already shown. They basically put in a local top, sold your first low, put in your first low, put in your lower high, and then another lower low. So that means that the bears have so far done a pretty damn good job at basically creating this downtrend. Now it's up to the bulls to say, hey, we can break this downtrend and then start driving this price up higher. What I could see in a situation like this is maybe this is just, initial selling, right? Where the bulls did not have enough strength. And now the bulls maybe once again find liquidity pocket in this area where stops got hit. Okay. Bears get to close out their shorts right here. And the bulls kind of grind this price back up to previous highs. Okay. And newer highs quite possibly, because for something like Alpha, what I'm looking for is I wanted to see a tag of this $1.24 level. It's a very clean SR, right? You can kind of see this, very, very clean SR. We've yet to touch it. And if we tag it, I mean, that's a perfect 20 to 25% trade. So if it works, I think it'll be quite a fantastic trade for us to jump into. Let me check out some other things and then we can wrap it up. Sushi, again, right, from the highs to where we are right now, it's down about 10% or so, right? Once again, same thing with sushi. What you ideally want to see is even a local trend. Okay, you've set these, like I said, low lows and lower highs and lower lows. So you want to see a break out of this. Everything pretty much looks the same trade, right? Sushi, Alpha, Brune, all this stuff looks very similar. So you want to see one or two of them break out and then see if other parts of the DeFi market follow. But yeah, here are my DeFi blue chips. These are the ones I'm watching. The ones in the yellow and green flags right here are really my top tier alts that I'm watching in the DeFi space. Okay. BTC specifically, like I said, support levels below, right around this weekly open, which is around 44,000, and then pivot 42K. Okay. BTC has its own respective downtrend, right? High, lower high, low, lower low. So that's been set for sure. On the daily, you could kind of see that maybe there's a potential, top being put in right here, especially around this 46K marker, all right? This area right here. I'm still in a small, BTC long position. I was really looking forward to BTC pushing higher, but doesn't look like that might happen. I'm not giving up on it. I still have my stops, set, but it's not looking too good right now. So, it is what it is. We'll see how it goes. Let's check out ETH and then we can wrap it up. Similar thing on ETH, right? Basically, again, sellers came in, put in a high, lower high, low, lower low. So your structure to the downside is set. Okay. Volume and indicator wise, I mean, I think everything looks consistent with the selling that we've been seeing. Really not aggressive selling, but it's enough to the point where the bulls are not able to break through key resistance or break through the selling that's happening. Let me see the RSI MACD. Well, it looks like, especially on the MACD 4-hour, it started to turn way the heck back here, right? The momentum loss was there, started to roll over. Same thing with the RSI, especially on Ethereum, bearish divergence was already building. So, these are really the signs that you want to see in a market where the market might be losing momentum, doing something like this, and then eventually does like that. Okay. So I'm noticing all these signs. And once again, it's got me cautious. Thus far, as I told y'all before, I was not really looking at this market to kind of take me back to previous highs. It might happen, but I still believe that this could be one big wave, either in a corrective count or maybe a new impulse that's starting. Corrective count meaning, we might be in like a very large A, B, and then a C style correction, or an impulsive count meaning, we might have had our A, B, C down here. And now this is, say your first beginning of wave 1, 2, 3, which would be a massive 3 that should at least take us to like 5,000 or 6,000. And then the fourth wave comes back down towards 4, or maybe retest top of this area. And the fifth wave takes us to like 8 to 10K ETH, right? I don't know which one we're in right now, but I would really like a very healthy, pullback in ETH and in other altcoins. And if we get the healthy pullback and we start seeing support established around 2,500 or 2,250, then that, then this is a very nice 1, 2, and then the third wave is really the one where you can make a lot of money on. And that could be, pretty massive. Okay. So anyway, I've updated Advantage members on everything. I closed out my alpha position. We're still sitting, relatively healthy in our account. Still in profit for August, but gave back some of the profit, obviously. It is what it is. So we'll continue with the rest of today and going into the weekend, looking for opportunities if we see any. Okay. ETH BTC, I already told y'all. It's pretty simple, right? Breaking this descending trend line structure. If we can hold up here and push higher, I expect ETH to push up higher, but then I also expect other altcoins to follow as well. Okay. And I think if ETH is going higher, I'm fairly confident BTC is going higher too. It's just, I would figure ETH is going to go up at a higher percent than BTC. All right, that's it. Hope you all enjoy this analysis. Talk to you through the day.